as I stepped out of the sleek, silver elevator and onto the polished floor of the high-tech laboratory. A shiver ran down my spine. It had been years since I'd set foot in a place like this. And the familiar hum of machinery and soft beeps of computer systems brought back a flood of memories. I was a retired spy. Or at least, that's what I'd told myself. The truth was, I'd never really left the game. I'd just changed the rules. My name is Rachel, and I'd spent the better part of my life navigating the shadows. Always staying one step ahead of the enemy. But this time, I wasn't here to gather intel or sabotage a rival operation. This time, I was here to face my greatest fear. The lab's director, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Kim, had reached out to me with a proposition. She'd developed a revolutionary new technology that could rewrite human memories, erasing the darkest corners of our minds and replacing them with new, fabricated experiences. The catch was that the technology was still experimental, and she needed someone with my particular set of skills to test it. I'd always been driven by a desire to control my environment, to manipulate the world around me to suit my needs. But the truth was, I'd been running from my past for years, trying to outrun the memories that haunted me. The thought of being able to erase them, to start fresh, was too enticing to resist. I agreed to meet with Dr. Kim, and she'd promised to give me a demonstration of the technology. As I made my way through the lab, I was struck by the sheer scale of the operation. Row upon row of workstations hummed with activity. Technicians and scientists huddled over complex equipment, their faces bathed in the glow of computer screens. I spotted Dr. Kim across the room, her dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, her eyes shining with intensity as she worked. "Rachel," she said, as I approached, "I'm glad you could make it. I think you'll find what I have to show you enlightening." She led me to a large, circular chamber in the heart of the lab, the walls lined with a dizzying array of machinery. In the center of the room, a single chair sat, surrounded by a halo of light. "This is the Memory Reconstructor," Dr. Kim explained, her voice filled with pride. "It uses advanced neuroimaging techniques to map the human brain, identifying and isolating specific memories. Once we've pinpointed the target memory, we can rewrite it, replacing it with a new experience." I felt a shiver run down my spine as I gazed at the chair. This was it, my chance to finally lay my demons to rest. But as I sat down, a voice in the back of my mind whispered a warning. What if this didn't work? What if I lost myself in the process? Dr. Kim's eyes locked onto mine, and I saw a flicker of understanding there. She knew what I was risking, and she was willing to let me do it anyway. I took a deep breath, and nodded. The procedure was agony. I felt my mind being torn apart, memories ripped from my brain like threads from a tapestry. I screamed, my body arching off the chair as the machine hummed to life. And then, suddenly, it was over. I stumbled out of the chair, my vision blurry, my head spinning. Dr. Kim caught me, holding me upright as I struggled to find my balance. "It's okay," she said, her voice soft. "You're going to be okay." But as I looked around the lab, I realized that something was wrong. The technicians were staring at me, their faces filled with a mixture of awe and horror. And then I saw it. A figure, standing in the shadows, watching me. It was me. Or at least, it was a version of me. One that I'd thought I'd left behind years ago. The machine had worked, but it had also unleashed a part of me that I'd kept hidden for so long. I knew what I had to do. I took a deep breath, and reached out to the other me, embracing the fear and the pain that I'd been running from for so long. It was a sacrifice, one that came at a great cost, but as I felt the two versions of myself merge, I knew that I'd finally found redemption. I was no longer the same person who'd walked into the lab that day. I was transformed, reborn, and as I walked out of the lab, into the bright sunlight, I knew that I was ready to face whatever came next.